Hi everyone, so welcome to today's video. We are doing a full face tutorial with products that are 10 and under. So nothing in this video is over $10, which I think is pretty great. I had so much fun going through my collection and picking out things, looking up the price points to make sure that I stay in that 10 and under range. So this is the look that I came up with. I'm using products as cheap as $3, maybe $2 for another product, but one of the main things is $3, and I can't even believe the quality that I'm getting for $3. It's like mind-blowing. And I had so much fun putting this look together, and I like the way the look came out overall. So I hope you will enjoy it, and let's just play with makeup and let's get ready together, and I hope that you will find something new to try in this video, and let's get started. Alright, so for this nothing over 10 look, we need to start with some sort of primer, and we're going to try to get through this video pretty quick. So the primer is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. This is the Dew Primer, and I talked about this in my last video, which is my favorites. Oops. And I just take a pump of that, and I use my fingers to kind of blend that in. You can use a sponge as well. And I think I may have mentioned at the beginning of the video, makeup is all 10 and under, not tools. I would try to use some affordable brushes. I have to still wash my brushes. I know this is so sad that I have yet to do that. But this primer, going back to it, is actually really good. It's kind of a little tacky, helps everything kind of stick. So the foundation that I'm going to be using today is an oldie but a goodie. This is my Revlon Candid Foundation. I've been using some other ones from the drugstore, but they are above that $10 price point. So we're going to kind of revisit this one, and I'm almost out. And I wear the shade 150, which is Creme Brulee. I have a damp beauty sponge that I get off of Amazon. And I have 2 pumps on the sponge. And I'm going to just blend this in. For concealer, this is a newer one for my collection, and it's the Fit Me by Maybelline, and I have it in the shade number 10 Fair, and I'm going to use quite a bit of this because this is not as full coverage as some of my other ones, and I've talked about my dark circles, so I'm using a lot today. And I am going to pull it down just a little bit below the under eye area for some brightness, and also taking that on the tops of my cheekbone. I'm also going to take that same concealer and do some spot concealing as well. Then to set everything, I'm going to use the Milani Prep Set and Glow Transparent Powder. This is a pressed version, and I like to take my sponge on the side and pick some of that up and set my under eye area before the concealer creases on me. And I do this with every concealer, just a little bit of insurance to make sure that it's not going to budge or move throughout the day, because I want it to stay put. And then I'm going to take a big fluffy brush and use that same setting powder and just lightly kind of press this into my cheek area where I have a little extra concealer. This foundation is a little bit lighter. I would say it's more of like almost like a medium coverage, and I do need to use a little extra in certain areas, and just go over the nose, a little bit forehead, chin, not too much in those areas, but it's mostly focusing that powder here because I'm going to be doing blush and bronzer, and the more I'm buffing and adding, the more it's lifting what's underneath. So I like to kind of set that concealer as best as I can with some setting powder before adding all of my color products. So we're going to go into bronzer and blush, obviously, and then we'll do brows. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. bronzer in Forever Sunkissed. This is the Primer Infused bronzer. Going back in with that same brush that I used to set my foundation, and this bronzer is awesome. And I want to say this is like $6 or so. Really great. And I'm going to add quite a bit of this. As you can see, it instantly starts to bring the life back into my skin. And then just take a little bit on the apples of the cheek as well. And using the tip of my brush, because it has a bit of a rounded point to it, and kind of contouring of it, but not really, because I'm just trying to mostly bronze. That's kind of my thing. And just a little bit of contour. If you have not tried these, it's amazing. e.l.f. is definitely doing some good stuff. And you guys seem to like e.l.f. products. I know someone left me a comment that they love e.l.f. products. And I can see why. They're really, really great. Okay, so for blush, I was going to use an e.l.f. one, but then I realized that my Milani blush, the baked one, is also in the under 10 range. So this is the Petal Primavera, which I love this blush. And you know what? We're just going to use that same brush, because why not? The other one that I have that's kind of clean is a huge powder brush, and then all of my other ones are dirty. So we're going to use this brush. This is the Real Techniques. It says number 400, the blush brush, and this is amazing. So I'm going to take a little bit of this blush and then the apples of the cheek and just kind of blend that up. It is a satin finish, so it kind of blends into the skin and it looks really, really nice. It's not overly shimmery or dewy, so if you have more of like oilier skin types, you might like the finish of this. I think that you could get some good use out of a blush like this. It's not so matte. So now we got to go for brows. I have a couple products for brows. I'm going to start, I think, with my Covergirl pencil. This is the Microfine pencil, and I use 705 Rich Brown. Very thin, super fine pencil. And I'm going to quickly fill in my brows with this first. Okay, so 20 minutes later, I'm back. I don't know why my brows take so long. I just wish that I could just be zip zap and be done. I'm going to take a little bit of my Almay brow styler, which adds just a little bit more color right through like the front part of my brow, and then a little bit through the tail end. Not so much trying to cover the whole brow with this, just a little bit. Then I'm going to set everything with the e.l.f. Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. It's a double-ended, and I'm just kind of working one end of it first and saving the other side when I run out, because I feel like I'm going to be running out pretty soon. All right, then for eyes, we are going to be doing some priming first. So I'm going to take my Milani eyeshadow primer. Then I'm going to take the same setting powder that I used earlier to set that before going in with my eyeshadows. And I'm going to just take a big fluffy brush and pick up a little bit of that Milani powder and go right over that primer. Okay, so for eyeshadows, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadows. This one is in Cream and Sugar, which I have not used yet. And then I have Rose Water, which is your pinks, taupey kind of shade. There's a little bit of a pinky champagne, and then this one here is like a deep plum with some sparkle. I have used this one before, and I wore this several videos back, and I was actually quite impressed. It was the first time using these eyeshadows, and these are $3. And I want to try the Cream and Sugar today because I have not used this one yet. It still has a seal. I'm going to start in my crease with this one here. This is a matte peach shade. And I'm going to take that on a big fluffy brush. And I'm just going to start applying this to my crease area. And as you can see, I mean, it is showing up. It is a light color because it's like a soft peach shade, but it is quite nice. And I'm just kind of looking down into a mirror so that I can see my natural crease and just kind of follow that. So I'm going to switch to a different crease brush, and I'm going to go into that dark brown, and I'm going to lightly tap because I don't want a lot of color initially in my crease. So I'm literally going to go one tap, and I'm going to tap off the excess, and I'm going to start applying that. There's some pigment with that tiny little bit to it. Whoa. There is some pigment here. So I'm going to let you know that these are pigmented for $3. That's impressive. And I'm going to add just a little bit to my crease. And I can build this up as I go, but initially, with my experience with the rose water and how pigmented that one was, I'm kind of treading softly to begin with. I'm going to go back into that initial fluffy brush that I used in that light peach color, and I'm going to go around the edges, making sure that they are soft and diffused. And I like to do this so that I can kind of stay on top of my blending as I create a look, so I don't go too high with the colors and everything kind of comes together. I'm switching to a smaller brush in that same dark brown color, and that's going to go on the lower lash line. Alright, so for the lids, there's two different shades that you could choose if you have this. One is more of a champagne, and then one is more of like a kind of coppery color. So I think I'm going to do both of the shades. I'm going to start with this one in the inner half, and then this one is going to be pretty much on the outer half. So let's start with this one here on the outer half of my lid, and I'm going to be using a very small brush. This is a Real Techniques brush. I'm going to load it up. That is such a pretty color. And I'm going to do this on from the center on out. Whoa. Do you see that? And that is with a dry brush, you guys. $3. I can't even believe it. It's crazy. That just drives me crazy how $3 gets you some really great quality. And then you go to Sephora, and a quad, you can spend as much as, what, $88 for a quad from a designer brand. That's crazy. And I'm going to go in with that lighter shade, which is like a golden champagne color. Same brush, because it's a small size. Works really well for getting onto the lid. And I'm going to add this to this inner part. And I'm going to just slightly stamp right over where those two colors meet to help blend those edges. So it's almost like a fade from the light into that golden color. It's got like that impact and that kind of glow and glistening effect without it being chunky or without actually having any shimmer to it. That's a really pretty shade. I'm telling you, this brush is also one to have because it helps with adding color and keeping it in a precise location. I'm going back in with the same brush and more of that gold, and I'm just going to kind of pat right over the other color and then just kind of build this up. So right over that other layer that I initially had placed down first. I'm going to wipe off that brush and take that same color, but I'm going to use just the tip of the brush And I'm going to add that to my inner corner. Very, very lightly. For eyeliner, I'm going to create like a smoky effect close to the root of the lashes. So I'm going to take that same dark color that I use in the crease, and I'm going to pick that up onto a very small little detail brush. So I'm going to tap off the excess onto a paper towel, and I'm going to do liner. I think I had mentioned earlier that I didn't have an eyeliner that's under $10, but hello, Maybelline Gel Liner is sitting right here next to me, like literally right next to my other e.l.f. Bite Size Quad. So I actually could have used that, but we'll tight line with that one instead. I'm going to take that same brush with that same color, and I want to concentrate more of that right the root of my lower lash line, and do that kind of in the outer half, so stopping about halfway, just to create a little bit more depth on the outer part of the eye. So for tight lining, I'm going to use my gel liner. I can't even believe I said I didn't have one, and it literally was sitting right there the whole time. I want to take some of this with the same little pencil brush. I'm going to just wipe it off really well. Now to finish the eyes, I'm going to use my Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara. I'm going to do 2 coats of this on my upper lash line, and then do a little bit on my lower lashes as well. Alright, so now eyes are done, so I need to do some highlighting, and I'm going to just use that same eyeshadow instead of using my Covergirl highlighter, which is pretty amazing and I love, by the way. I'm going to just use the eyeshadow, so I'm going to take the same one that I have on the inner corner, and I'm just going to lightly go on the tops of my cheekbone. And the temples as well. Go down the bridge of my nose, tip of my nose. You can see how intense and blinding this is. And I am using a pretty dense brush to apply it. Alright, so then to finish the entire look, I need to add something to the lips. I'm going to do a gloss, but I want to line a little bit, especially like my upper lip line. And I'm going to use my Nude Whisper from Maybelline, because you guys know how much I love this liner. So I'm going to line. And then feathering that color in just a little bit, just lightly. And then I'm going to top that with a gloss. This is the e.l.f. Retro Paradise Gloss in the shade Strawberry Daiquiri. I've used this once before, and I really like it. Really great formula. And it smells so good. It smells so yummy. I could just eat it. Don't worry, I'm not. Alright, and that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This was fun to do, trying to find products in my collection and keeping it under that $10 price point. And this just goes to show you that you don't have to spend a fortune on eyeshadow to get a good look. These $3 quads from e.l.f., the bite-size eyeshadows, are very impressive. I have been impressed with the 2 so far that I've tried, so I may eventually purchase more of them. Everything just worked out really great, and being in that affordable price point is even better because it doesn't break the bank, and I feel like the look came together really well. And if I hadn't told you the price points or the brands and I just kind of started applying, you may not even be able to pick up that these are drugstore products. Like, drugstore makeup has come such a long way, and I really like the way the look came out. It's a little bit kind of smoky for the day, but I like that because it's different, and it's not super warm, and it's not very cool and kind of grayish looking. I feel like there's a little bit of color with that slightly coppery bronze looking color in the palette, but I do feel like everything kind of came together and it just created a really nice look that honestly you could use or wear every single day. And you can switch up the lip, you can switch up your blush and do something a little bit darker, something lighter. I mean, you can really take it any direction with something like this quad that isn't too warm or too cool. I feel like it's a good one. It's kind of like right in the middle, a bit neutral, slightly warm with that eyeshadow, that kind of coppery gold color, but it still looks really pretty, and there is just a nice amount of depth coming through from that dark color, and it's a $3 eyeshadow. Like, I still can't. If you like the rosy kind of pinky tones, check out the rose water one that I talked about earlier, because that's a really good one. So everything is going to be listed down below for you in case you're wanting to try anything that I used specifically today, and I hope you enjoyed it, because I did. I liked the look, and I'm ready to tackle the rest of my day. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. You can also leave me your favorites from the drugstore or your favorite products that are 10 and under, so we can do another one of these soon. And you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and I can share with you guys just all kinds of things there. So if you want to tune in, it's here on the screen as always. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.